Let's do something different for our holiday meal this year. Hi, I'm here at Big Red Market in Thorold. My name's Cheryl, and I'm going to see Henry the Butcher about doing a prime rib. Hi, Henry.
Good morning.
I wanted to do really something different for our holiday meal, and you're suggesting prime rib.
Yes, I've got a beautiful one right here. As you can see, it's got nice marbling.
And what does that mean?
The marbling will give it the flavor and keep the juices in the prime rib.
And after it's cooked, if I want to cut the fat off,
cut some of the fat
I got
off,
the flavor.
you'll have the flavor
and not the fat.
you can discard. Some people like fatty, but some don't. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it chef style, where I've already shown you. I'll take this bone off, and then when you roast it with the bone side down, after it's been cooked, you can just take that off like this. Put it down, let it sit for a minute, and then you could let these cook longer and slower.
So to round out our meal, I'm going to cook some carrots, some parsnips, and some fingerling potatoes. And I'll show you how it all comes back together back at my kitchen. So welcome to my kitchen. Here's that beautiful roast that Henry prepared for me. And I'm going to get ready to give it a dry rub. This is going to give it a lot of seasoning and give it a touch of a marinade as well. So we're going to do it with a couple of cloves of garlic. As you can see, I have my food processor out ready to go. I find this makes really quick work of this job. So for this 4-pound roast, 4 and a little bit, I'm going to use a couple cloves of garlic. You can see that I've got some fresh Italian style parsley here. You could use regular parsley. I just grow this in my garden, and believe it or not, it's still, even at this almost holiday time, it's still ready to go. See how fast that is? Fast, fast, fast. Not too much. And then if I had fresh thyme, you could use fresh thyme. I'm going to use dried thyme. You always use less of a dried herb than you would of a fresh. So that's approximately half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to season it as well. Never skip the seasoning step. Every layer of a recipe you need to season. This is approximately half a teaspoon of salt. And you're going to check that seasoning as you get ready to put this on the roast. Freshly ground pepper, and about a tablespoon or 2 of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to give this a quick process in the food processor and then show you how I'm going to dress the roast. So here we are getting ready to put the rub on the roast. You notice I put a piece of wax paper down on my cutting board. This is a little food safety thing. It's really hard to disinfect a wooden cutting board. It's really a plastic surface as well, so it's a nice thing to do. So I'm taking out the roast. Now, Henry has suggested that I cook the roast rib side down. So that's what I'll do. He's tied it for me, as you can see, so that the ribs will stay on, even though we've got it in the pan. Now, here's the rub that I have made, and I want to get this over all surfaces. So the best way to do this is just to get your hands right in there. You're back in kindergarten, having a good time. So we're just smushing this all over this gorgeous prime rib roast. See the wisdom of the wax paper? Just makes cleanup so much easier. And I want to get this over all surfaces. It's like finger painting, having lots of fun, getting ready for our very festive holiday meal. This has got a ton of flavor in it with the parsley and the garlic. It smells amazing already. There we go. So I'm going to place this in the pan, rib side down. Now I don't have to worry about putting a rack in my roasting pan because Henry has cut this chef style. If you had a different kind of prime rib without the bones, you would put a wire rack or something in there. So this is going to go in a preheated 500-degree oven. So it takes a while for the oven to heat up, so you got to plan ahead. I want to let that roast sit now for about an hour. It's going to come to room temperature. It's going to go in the preheated 500-degree oven for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to turn the heat down. Why don't you check in with me then? It's been an exciting time here in my kitchen. The roast went in at 500 degrees for 20 minutes, and then it took about another 2 hours at 325. And about an hour and a half before the roast was done cooking, I added the vegetables. Words won't describe. I got to show you. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to take this over to my carving board, remove the roast from the bone, and then the bone and the vegetables actually can go back in the oven to stay warm. If I want to cook them a little bit longer, I can do that. But there's that beautiful roast. I'm going to tent this with foil and let this rest for at least 30 minutes. Okay, the moment of truth is here. The meat has rested for 30 minutes. I kept the vegetables and the bone in the oven warming. We want to cut it against the grain. And what does that mean? Well, if you look at the meat itself, you'll notice that there is kind of a line to the way the fibers run. So they're running kind of this way. I'm going to carve this way against the grain. So let me just rotate this. I've tried to cook the roast to a temperature of 120 interior. I pulled it out of the oven at 120, and it's still cooked on its own as it rested for about another 5 degrees. So we're looking at about a medium rare here. You can see it's still got a little bit of pink, but there's some fully cooked around the edges, and it's not really releasing a lot of juices anymore. That's the really important part about letting the meat rest, is the juices are reabsorbed into the fibers of the meat. You get beautiful tender meat. So let's try a little bit, because I just can't wait. Can you see how beautifully tender this is? This is triple grade A beef, done chef style by Henry, an old school butcher. You don't get this every day. This is amazing. I cannot wait to treat my friends and family at their holiday meal with something that really was so easy. A couple hours in the oven, I went and had a bath. Have a great holiday.